Okay, so when I was a kid, these things happened in our old house. So we're starting off with an experience my mom told me. So our old house was this huge two-story building and we lived at the second floor. There was a staircase from the ground floor that led to the living room. The living room was connected to the bedrooms and the kitchen. So at this time my grandmother had recently passed away. My uncle and my mom was sitting in a round table and it was facing the way to the staircase. So while they were talking, they heard these loud footsteps coming up the old wooden stairs, but no one was there. This obviously freaked them out and they left the living room. Next is about what I experienced, and I am I'm certain they haven't. So one night, my mom asked me if I could come with her in washing the dishes. So I agreed and went with her. I was right beside my mom when she was doing the dishes, and I was just looking at this gorgeous bonsai tree near the window. That's when I felt someone breathing down my neck. I didn't know what to do. I asked my mom, "Are you breathing?" She said, "Yeah." I guess I didn't clear up my question too much, but throughout the entire thing, I felt this hot breath behind my neck and I could hear it breathing too. Another time, I was in the family bedroom. So there were three huge beds on the right corner back side of the room, and in front of it was a television and a computer. The left side of the bedroom led to the closet room, which also led to the bathroom. So I was in one of the beds watching the television and my brother was playing the computer. We were the only ones in the room, so I was watching Cartoon Network when suddenly at the corner of my eye, I saw this white dress covered in blood swift by. I was totally alarmed by this and stood by my brother, but I didn't tell him what happened because I didn't want to admit that I was scared of ghosts. But I was terrified. Another time was at my tutor's place. Me and my brother were finished with the lesson and we wanted to go home, so I had to dial home with their telephone. I dialed our home telephone and I heard a woman who was making a weird breathing sound like the one from the movie The Grudge. I hung up the call and redialed, and that's when my mom answered and she agreed to fetch us. I don't understand why those sounds were made when I first called. So, yeah, a lot of things happened in that old house of ours. Another event in that house happened at night. I was going to my cousin's room, which was a few steps outside our bedroom. I told my parents I would go and I went out of my room. As I was walking, I happened to look at the living room. It was pitch black and someone forgot to open the lights. I don't remember seeing anything, but it was so dark that I froze there, and I sat down and cried really loud, enough for everyone to go out of the rooms and comfort me. Rest assured, I never went out alone again. There are weird events that happen in that house, like whispers, feeling of being watched, and shadows in the corners of your eye. This was pretty common, but in our bedroom, I would always hear a couple arguing. They were talking in the walls, and it didn't sound like whispers. It sounded like someone was on the other side of the wall, and it would echo around the room. I always heard this, but the rest of my family didn't. I said earlier that in our bedroom, there was a closet room on the left side of the room. In the corner of my eyes, I always saw a shadow entering the closet. I repeatedly tried this. I'd position the room at the corner of my eye, and every time I saw something enter. If you're alone in that house, you'll always feel like someone is watching you. And this feeling is a strong presence and it will drive you crazy. Sometimes too, the doors would suddenly open. Something would quickly turn the doorknob and it would be enough to open the door slightly, but never all the way open. Okay, so this will be my last story, but it was definitely the worst one I had to deal with. The computer was placed and it was near the bed. It was early morning, my family was still asleep, and I wanted to play Warcraft. So I booted up the computer, started the game, and one of my online friends chatted me. My friend sent me a message, and I was typing my reply when suddenly, this old blackish gray hand scratched my arm. I saw the arm, and it was like the hand of an old person, but it looked pale and gray. I immediately looked at my arm in disbelief and I saw scratch marks, like when you get these white streaks when your skin is dry. I then saw a shadow enter the closet room again. I really tried to play again, but fearing it would happen again, I jumped to the bed and it woke up my mother. I told her what happened when everyone was awake later that day. Okay, so there it is, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed my story. It was a pleasure telling you guys. Um, we left the house because of problems, but recently we're allowed to revisit it, and I don't know what to expect. Last time I was there was way back in 2009, so all these events happened when I was pretty young. And I love you guys. Consider subscribing and liking the video. I love you. Thanks.